I'm going to close with a geographical evocation, a regional vignette that means, associated with a place that means a great deal to me, northwest Montana. It's called Borgia to Thompson Falls. Borgia is a tiny place in Mineral County, Montana on Interstate 90. Thompson Falls is a larger place, the county seat to the north of Sanders County. And there are various ways to link the towns, but for me, this wonderful backwoods trek, which I first saw with my friend, the composer and painter Scott Kirby in 1999, and then with Teresa some years later, has everything to do with what Northwest Montana's magic became in my mind in middle age. This piece, like the chorales, is also realizable on synthesizer, but I opted to do the piano version tonight because it's actually become the more developed of the two versions. I've done it so many times, and it actually works well as a kind of postmodernist romantic piano piece. So here then, to conclude the concert, Borgia to Thompson Falls. And before I play it, I want to thank a couple of people. I want to thank, as always, my wife for all of her help and helping me get to where I need to be and helping to put things together, helping to keep this really what is a rather challenging and elaborate little effort, especially coming all the way over here from Walnut Creek. It wouldn't be possible for me to pull all this together on my own, so that's what she does is really invaluable. I also want to thank my brother-in-law, Eric Jones, who synthesized this. He loaned me this set to get back when I get back the electronic pieces as I had them a while back using this set, and to go ahead and keep it for the premiere. So that's worked out beautifully. I love this instrument for these pieces. So thank you very much, Eric. Thanks to Lewis Motisher, who my videographer there, who has documented so many of my events in the Bay Area and in Sacramento area as well. He's an invaluable friend and a great ally in the distribution of my legacy. You truly are, Lewis. And thanks, Karen, for your support, which is always heartfelt and unique. Here is Borgia to Thompson Falls from late 2000 and perfected at various times since then in the different versions. reporters coming all the way up here from Summit, North Carolina. It means a great deal to me. I told you I would pull out all the stops when you told me you were coming here.
Speechless.
Thank you for being here.
We even have a minute for requests.
Well, I'm not against that. Since we have time, I think those of you who know me well know that I'm open to that. I'm also open to questions about what I do, about postmodernism, about anything. And I don't think you'll be bored with my response to the adventure.
Can you tell me a little bit about this particular pen and ink?
Sure. So yeah, a mixed media piece. And in fact, this is to scale. This is the size of the original. It's reproduced precisely. It's called the Celtic Harmonium. It's not atypical of my work insofar as disparate elements at least objectively disparate, come together naturally in this autobiographical aesthetic scheme that I love. So that it's perfectly natural for these uplands in North America, which many of us know about, the Ozark Plateau and the Purcell Mountains in southeastern British Columbia, where I spent a lot of time, and which also come down into North Idaho. And then the obscure Polk Ridge. There's the mysterious part, which is one of the pieces of the Ozarks means so very much to me. My camp is at the north end of Polk Ridge in Shannon County, Missouri. Chopin over Idaho. Well, combining the two dominant Ozark states, which the plateau also touches parts of Kansas and Oklahoma, plus Idaho with its various sort of charged associations and its associations with freedom and libertarianism, with the ultimate romantic hero, alongside the harmonium. Here's the harmonium itself with the Celtic cross, hence the Celtic. All pulled together by this, what is really a kind of stylized self-portrait protagonist that I've used since the 1980s. It appears in various guises, and I am often amused by the responses to this I get, particularly along the lines of how feminine or how masculine it is. In this case, we have a softer version, which I think is very often thought to possibly be androgynous and not a woman. I have a painter and poet friend who thinks that many of my self-portraits really look more womanly than male. And I know that's the case with this. So these are some of the elements that come together naturally enough. My influences as a painter are extremely varied, but I can tell you that my roots are not that dissimilar from my musical roots, which are largely 19th century sensibility based, but with 20th century languages to one extent or another brought to the fore. I was very much influenced by the post-impressionists growing up. I'm entirely self-taught as a painter, but I'm far from naive, and have been since I was very little, about the history of painting and what's done. In fact, I became a very interesting, if not downright convincing, imitator of Cézanne and Van Gogh by the time I was 13 years old. So that was a part of my self-training. Surrealism as a way of looking at reality, not just as a multi-level artistic movement that began in the 20s and moved on from there, but as a way of reckoning with poetic reality, has been crucial to me. So I've been influenced in various ways by surrealism, which grew out of actually symbolism in the late 19th century, and then with Dada acting as a sort of liaison. You can see that in much of my visual art, though I must tell you, when I was 20, my post-impressionist and expressionist roots led me to something that was even more important to me as a mature painter. I discovered outsider art, l'art brut, call it all kinds of things, raw invention. The art produced in the maximum removal from mainstream acculturation. I saw Roger Cardinal's book, Outsider Art, in a bookstore, was overwhelmed, and it was the next major step in my life as an artist, period, regardless of media. That's how I first encountered the work of Adolf Wolfli, who became one of my central heroes in life. I eventually came to the work of people like Martin Ramirez. So you can see some of my natural links. I had the great satisfaction of being included in my favorite art journal ever, Raw Vision, in 1994, in the winter edition, the 94 and the 95, which is devoted to outsider art predominantly. So it was how wonderful to be included in a magazine that acts as a sort of official organ for people like Adolf Wolfsme, Martina Ramirez, Heinrich Anton Mueller, painters who mean so very much to me. So that's something about what's here and what is in my background as a visual artist. The media here are, there's inks, there's ballpoint pen, there may be some pigment liner, but predominantly there's colored pencil and crayon. There's also graphite here. I love combining all of these things. Early in life, I worked primarily in oil. I still treasure oil, but I work very slowly in it, and I don't have the freedom at this point that I do with these graphic media on paper. So most of my best work has been mixed media on paper since the 1980s. Glad for you to have that. Very glad. Any requests before we get too late? Teresa said they said I could play until the time when I thought we all had to actually be out of here.
The music needs to be finished by 10.
Yeah. So, any other questions or any requests for anything? I don't dare try to play that because I haven't even touched it in months. I wish. A piece of mine on YouTube, Maria Antonietta Paul's, a piece that I wrote in 86, 87, near the time of the Polo Grounds, which has really gotten around on YouTube. By serious music standards, 10,000 is a lot of hits. Small in the pop world, but I can guarantee you that's large in the pop world. So I feel very good about that. Anything else?
So glad to be here on my birthday.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, Schubert and Philip Glass. And you just missed that heart of January with Morton Feldman and me. And and Mozart, very close to you. Scott Kirby, very close to you.
Thank you.
Thank everyone for being here. This has been a wonderful night. I knew this would be an intimate setting. I didn't expect a large audience because there can't be. And I take it that this is really fairly typical for the attendance here, and I feel great about it. I love the acoustics. I like what we have kinetically, and I'm pretty happy with most of what I did here. So thank you very much for being here.